Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Global Avi Weekend Live. It's so good to see each and every one of you. Welcome to my live session. And I've been coming to live, I've been coming live on this channel because I've seen the need of information, the need and value for information, and I've decided that instead of just watching and seeing people make this mistake like every single time, how about we teach this thing? I've taught on this some of these things on my YouTube channel. I've made videos on them. But you know how they say people don't hear something until you said it like 21 times. So I don't want you to get into those scams, get into those pitfalls before you finally find me and then say, oh, I wish I had met you. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. I wish I had seen your channel before I got scammed. I wish I had come across your channel. All of those stories, I really do not want to have them in my ears this year. So I'm playing my part by making sure that I get this information, I get this knowledge to you, I pass it across to you so you can make informed decision. How has our weekend been? How has our week been? How has the holiday been for you? Hope you've had enough rest. Work has started. We're resuming next week. Some has already resumed this week. Some other persons have resumed, like we're working from home and all of that. So how has it been for you? I hope you're taking some time to rest because the year started and you don't want to. You don't want to work when you're already burnt out, right? So yes, today we're going to be talking about something really interesting. You know, the real estate sector is a very interesting sector, but it becomes very boring when you are not actively in the sector, when you're not actively doing anything about your finance in the real estate sector. So you know how something gets very boring because you're not interested. That is how real estate is. So if because it's you're not interested, that is why it looks boring. But when I tell you that people sit with my videos and they tell me, Abby, I'm so grateful you made this video. Thank God I saw this video. Like, can you make a video on this? Can you make a video on that? They're not asking for these videos because they just want to watch something. They're asking for these videos because they're actively involved. They want to get involved. They want to get knowledge. And they've seen that the information that I shared on this platform has helped them or has helped them have a better understanding on what they're about to get themselves into. So some of these things, some of these calls, some of these messages fuels me into making putting out this information every single time I come here and then see that it gets to you. That is the reason why I'm making this video, because if there are no persons that are falling into scams every single day, I don't think there'll be any motivation for me to come online, talk about something. I mean, my the piece I have is that there is someone that watches this video and they are because they watched my video, because they saw this information online, they are not going to fall into scam. That alone gives me enough rest, enough peace of mind. So yeah, welcome each and every one of you here. If I say welcome in the name of Jesus, oh my God. Okay, so today let's talk about something interesting. Like I said, so you know how we want to buy something and then you just like, okay, I want to buy this thing, and then you just go ahead and buy it, and then you now discover, okay, this thing I bought, I did not know that is how it's going to be. In real estate, it's not like that. You don't just decide and then just go about doing it. In the real estate sector, you need knowledge. And knowledge is because the sector is saturated per se. There are a lot of people in it. And it's one sector that you don't need any special skill for you to get into it. You can just wake up today and say you're a realtor. So there are a lot of people because of the entry, the no entry. You don't need any special thing, no special certification. Even though some of us have taken the extra mile to go to get certification for these things, there are some other persons that don't see it as anything. They don't even invest in values. Sorry, they don't invest in knowledge that would even help them get better. All they care about is the money, and people just meet them and then see that, oh, this person is all over online, is everywhere, their product is everywhere, let me just buy. And at the end of the day, they're surprised. Okay, they have the products, but this is not what I asked for. It's not like you'll not get what you asked. Like what you ordered is not what you get. It's just that it is not the way you expected it to be. It's not what you thought in your mind that you finally got, right? That's why I'm making this video tonight. Let's talk about what you need to consider before you buy a property. Now, on the angle of yourself, not like what you need to check on all of those things. These are the questions you need to like ask yourself before you get the phone to call a realtor, or before you see a video online and screenshot the phone number and you want to, tell them I like this property, I want to buy it, I love it, is this, is that. You need to sit with yourself and ask yourself those questions I want to list out. And these things are very important because you don't like see them anywhere, like nobody writes them online and tell you these are what you're going to do. But I'm going to take this time to explain these things out. Now, I need you to understand that first of all, the city you're buying in is not like every other city, right? Abuja is so different. And I keep saying this every time. And I say it every time because people are very surprised at how the Abuja market operates, especially when they get into it. And if you've bought in other places, you get to see that the market is actually really different. The way they handle stuffs here is very different. The way they handle their documentation is different. The way they hand you over your doc is everything is different. Very different. Last week I talked about the land administration systems in Nigeria, and I talked about the one Abuja operates with, and it's literally only Abuja that operates with that kind of land administration system. Only Abuja operates that way, and that is obviously why it's different from every other state. Now, one of the things I need you to ask yourself, sit with yourself and ask, is before I buy this property, what do I need it for? I need a property, right? What do I need it for? Like we call it need analysis, or better still, I'll call it your need definition. You have to define your need. Why are you buying this property? You need to ask yourself why you're buying this property. Do you know why? Abuja, again, is the only city that was planned. Like, they already planned it out. They already drafted how the city would look like. They already planned how everything is going to be like before they now started building it. Do you understand? Just like when you want to build a house, you already have the architect draw everything, lay down all the plans. This is where the road network is going to come in. This is how, this is where the kitchen will be. Okay, let me just use a single house. This is where the kitchen will be. This is where this one will be. Everything has already been planned. And then there's execution, right? That was how Abuja was built. They first planned it then before they started building it and started giving it out to people. And now they've been very strict on this master plan since the 90s. They've been so strict with it. So much so that if you do anything that doesn't align with this plan, if your dream home doesn't align with this plan, you will not fit in here. If the way you want your, like the other day, I got a call from a client who wanted a 1,000 square meters in one of our estates. And he was insisting that what he wants to build on that estate is his personal house. He likes the estate, he likes the structure, he likes how everything is. And he was insisting that that's what he wants to build it. I'm like, you can't build this here. What is designated for this place is blocks or flats. You can't build a personal house in this estate. This is what it is used for. This is what they've designed it for. I was like, okay, how about I talk to the developer, I tell them I like the area. I say, I'm sorry. There is urban and regional planning in Abuja. They check and make sure that everything you've come to, like what was approved of you. DDC has their own part. That's development control. They have their own part. They come to check that what they approved for you to build in an estate, in a house, is what you're doing there. When DDC comes to your house or your location where you want to build what you want to build, and it is not what they approved of you to do there, there's going to be a problem. You have to take it down. So it's not like they finish approving something for you and then you now go back and do what you like. No. It's not like you're doing something and then nobody's saying you know. They have structures, they have offices, like a lot of offices in Abuja, to make sure that you follow the master plan. So when you do what you like, what you see, you take anything you see, because they are very strict with it. You cannot come and spoil what they have been following all the while. So it's important you state categorically what you need the property for. What do I need this property for? Do you need it for commercial purpose? Do you want to live there? Do you want to buy and hold it and sell later? Do you want to use it for cash flow? Do you want to use it for a farm? Do you want to use it for industrial purpose? You need to state it. You need to be sure that, okay, I'm looking for a house where I want to build my house, or I'm looking for a land or an area where I can build an apartment or block or flats. And that way it's easy for us to locate you there, for a realtor to like show you options of where you can have that executed, right? So what do you need it for? Another thing you need to also ask yourself is what location, because it's not what you can build here that you can build here. Different locations in Abuja. What works here cannot work here. In fact, you can come to a whole location in Abuja. You see how crazy it is? You can come to a location in Abuja. Let's say you come to a whole area and you see only just one supermarket there and one filling station. It's that crazy. You can come to a location and you will not see any single filling station there. No single one at all. It's not like other places, maybe Lagos, Enugu, Abuja, Oka, Anambra, Delta, that you go, you see one. There are even some places, like in Enugu, you can go like 3 places, you see like 2 filling stations opposite each other safe. You can't do that here. You can't. The place is so structured in a way that if this is residential, it is residential. Then they could now give you like a supermarket there and then a filling station around the area. And there are now places where you see only residential. Before you see a filling station, you would go like you drive a mile before you see a filling station. So that is how the city is structured. So if you now come and say because you have a goal and a dream of building a filling station in a area that is just by the main road, you have to ask. If you're not knowledgeable about the Abuja real estate market, you have to ask. You would need to ask the realtor, the person you're working with, what's available, what is obtainable. You cannot impose your need on the system. You need to like state your need and align it to what is already on the system. That way you're not caught out. You're not nobody disturbs you. Nobody comes to tell you that your property needs to be demolished. So that is why it's important. State the location you want, so that when you state that location, and then let's say you say, okay, I want this property in so the realtor that is, if you work with someone that is a professional that is very this thing in that location, that is very conversant with that location, they will tell you, oh, this thing you want to do here cannot work here. However, you can do it here, you can do it here, you can do it here. And you can go ahead and ask why, and they give you the explanation. It's simple. It's just that I don't know, but I feel like we want change in Nigeria, and we like how abroad look like. We like how other state looks like, other countries look like, and then we just have this anyhowness when it comes to Nigeria. For example, somebody who will legit stay in Nigeria would eat something and drop it on the floor. But when they go abroad, I don't know, the consciousness just comes. You just know that you're not supposed to. You're in Nigeria, you drive recklessly. But when you go abroad, you just know that there's a particular speed limit and you need to maintain that. So I think it's literally the culture of anyhowness, if you ask me. Because somehow when we go abroad, we see that, okay, this is how it is done here. This is how it is done here. And we just align. When it's Nigeria, how much? Let me pay and let me get away with this thing. Let's just get this. Let's just move forward. How much is it? If Igbo man will tell you, oh, you go, say how much so that we can just settle it with money. But that's not how it's done. That's not how it's done. So you need to state categorically. You see, I'm taking my time to emphasize on this thing because it's not like there is any rule anywhere that says this is how it is done. But I'm in the system and I can tell you this for free. That is how it is done. That is how it will be easy for you to get a property here. You need to understand what you want. You need to have the end in mind when you want to buy in Abuja. If you want to buy somewhere else, Lagos, there are even some places in Lagos you can't even do that. If you want to buy anywhere else that is not Abuja, you can decide, okay, I'll just buy the property, I'll decide what I'm going to do with it later. But in Abuja, if it's residential, you're buying residential. And even if it's residential, you have to state if it's your own residential or if it's maybe a commercial residential. That means for Airbnb or block of flats. You need to state that too. Because it's not every location that would give you, okay, I want residential, and then you now build. And even the residential, you cannot, it's not everywhere you can build duplex how you like. There are some locations that you build a kind of duplex because they have a plan, they have a prototype of how everything should look like in the place, especially in estates. There are places where even if you buy a 1,000, maybe usually let's say a 150 square meters is for terrace, 250 terrace 2 can still accommodate terrace, then 350 can be for standalone duplex. Now for that standalone duplex, there is a kind of standalone duplex that some estates will restrict you to, while there are some others that would give you different option on what you can build there. Okay, so it's so important that you know these things, so that when you finish the property transaction and it's time for you to build and they reject your building plan. In fact, they are going to tell you what to build. They'll tell you, and they reject what you have in mind. You don't feel like it's my land. Yes, it's your land, but there is a plan and you need to follow it. You need to follow through that plan. So also another thing you need to understand is that in as much as the location, what you need is important, you need to know that your budget affects these things. So you can't say you want to buy a property in a location and then your budget is ridiculous. Like you want to buy, okay, let's say in somewhere like Uye, you want to buy let's say a 500 square meters land in Uye, or you want to buy, let's say, 750 square meters land, and you're saying that your budget is, let's say, 100 million naira. Okay, 100 million naira for what exactly? It cannot fly. It can't fly. 100 million naira for what? It cannot fly. How much is... Okay. So you need to be sure that your budget aligns with what you say you want. There are some prices that I hear, and I now see that, okay, you don't know what's going on here. Then the best I do is, if I see that it's something you're not actually aware of, then I educate you and tell you, okay, this is what works here. This is what's available here. This is how it works here. To help you know that, okay, probably sometimes I even ask you, when was the last time you were in Abuja? Someone tell me that I was here like 6 years ago. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I get it. I understand. But when you tell me, I was in Abuja just last year, I'm like, maybe you just want to talk, or maybe you're not aware of the level of development happening here. Because you see, Abuja is one place I can tell you categorically that you can literally calculate how much you would make from a property location or from a property within a time frame. I mean, you can buy this property in let's say January, and you know that before the end of the year it would have gone up to 100% return because of what has been happening there, because of the things that's been happening in that location. Okay, especially a location that is fast developing, somewhere like we, it was stated statistically that we grew to about over 80% between 2024 and 2025. Like, and of course, this reason is obvious. As soon as the Wuye Bridge was created, as soon as the Wuye Bridge was done, it was just like, the development was just crazy. It was wild. A lot of people like loved it because, I mean, from Wuye to Wuse, it was just amazing. You could connect it to a lot of great places. You could go from Wuye to a lot of high-end locations, right? So it moved the property price in the location to almost 100%. 80% is almost 100%. It's just being on a, it's statistics says it's over 80%. And that's amazing, right? So imagine someone that wants to buy a property in that location and was not aware of that development. I would not blame them for their price, for the price that they assume they can get the property for. And this is where scammers thrive. When they see that you are now aware of what is going on in the location, when they see that you are very, like, totally unaware of what's going on, they give you hopes, false hope, and tell you, oh, it can work, I'm going to get you something. And they sell you one old property that has been sold to 1,000,001 people. And you know the crazy thing with this? They always sell a particular property to a particular set of people that think the same way. Like, it's crazy. Statistics has it that they've recovered over 1 billion naira. And that's for those that they caught, oh. over 1 billion naira from scammers. Those are the courts. And these are not high-end locations, just normal location, like upcoming locations. I think in the last 2 years, 2, 3 years, they've recovered over 1 billion naira from scammers. And you know that most times they don't even get to catch these scammers. So this is even the one that people that documented, that went to police, did the proper reporting and all of that, how they were scammed, and they were able to now record that one. And you know that in Nigeria, not a lot of people want to go through the route of, okay, I'll do this. Most people want to do jungle justice. They would probably try. When they try and they don't see, they just give up. They want some people who say, okay, they'll go and fight the scammer and then look for people to, maybe they'll probably maybe look for ways to collect the money. And most times scammers would have eaten it. And you see that it's not one person. If you even see the person, you'll be wondering how you were so I'm just trying to help you know that for statistics to recognize 1 billion naira that was retrieved from people that were scammed in the last 2 years to 3 years, almost 3 years though, you should know that there are more people. And do you know the craziest part? If you see how much gets into Nigeria from the diaspora for real estate, statistics still has it that over 40% of people were scammed, even from that huge trillions of dollars that was sent to Nigeria for real estate. And it's amazing. Like, when I see these things on, I'm like, is it that this thing that we are always teaching on, like, is it that people are not hearing it? Is it that the more we educate people on these things, is it that they don't sit with these things, and then you want to buy something as important as real estate and you don't want to give yourself any education? You don't want to get yourself involved with a reputable lawyer. You don't want to pay a lawyer to help you do this thing. You're just doing it because, okay, let's just get going. They are popular. I can always trace them online. You don't see any track record of them, and you just go ahead and do it. It's crazy, and it's really heartbreaking. Like I said, this information, whenever I see them, it's mind-boggling. And instead of complaining and getting surprised every time at how people fall into these scams, I said to make videos like this so that you get to see that if you're scammed in 2026, it's your fault. Okay? So let's get on with the next one. Now, another thing after your budget is the purpose. Okay, I've already mentioned the purpose, right? If you're going to live there, if you're going to buy, keep it for some time and then sell it later, or if you want a property you can use for cash flow. Hello, Techie. Welcome to my YouTube live. Welcome. So another thing that you need to consider is if it matches your goal. This property you want to buy, does it align with your long-term goal? Okay, now let's say you want to buy and flip later. If you're going to buy and flip, are you willing to wait for a particular period of time? Have you told yourself, okay, I'm going to wait for this particular period? Have you discussed this with the realtor? Because most times when people call me and tell me they want to buy a property, I ask them some of these questions. They feel like they're in, maybe an exam hall, they're having interviews. If I'm asking you these questions, it's to help you, because sometimes, like I said, it's not written anywhere, but these questions needs to be asked so that you're able to know what to do when it's time for you to buy. Okay, so it's important you have this clarity. You don't just assume things. A lot of people just work in assumptions whenever they want to buy property. Another thing I need you to also know is that whenever you want to buy, do you want to do an outright payment? Do you want to do a part-time payment, or maybe a payment? You want a payment plan? Now, let's say you want to do a payment plan. Do you know the payment conditions that the company is offering? Do they align with what your income is saying? Do you want a 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months? You need to be sure. So recently, someone wanted to buy a property, and she had the initial deposit, she had everything, but from her calculation and from the income she had, she said that if she continues like this, she's not going to meet up. And in Abuja, there's no free meal. If you're going to extend your payment plan, there's always a percentage. an extra percentage, because if you're going to buy time, you need to pay for it. So she said, okay, I'd rather just chill, wait a bit for this property price to increase. I don't mind at this point, but I'm sure that I have the money, because they don't want to put yourself under pressure. Because whenever you don't pay at a particular time that you are told to pay, you're going to pay, like you're going to pay for the time you wasted. There's always a clause in payment plan that if you don't meet this deadline, you're going to pay this fee, you're going to pay this fee, you're going to pay a charge, and trust me, in Abuja, they're not playing when they tell you that. It's not like some other places where you can just, okay, I know this. Nobody's playing with you here, because development in Abuja is crazy. It's fast. Like I said, it is one place that you can sit down and calculate how much you would make. Like you can, you can you can look at a property that you're buying today, and you from the calculations of what has been going on in that location. I don't want to start using real estate terms for you so you don't get confused. So from the calculations that you've seen happening in that location, you can tell how much you would make, how many percent in your returns you would make. Let's say you buy a property for 30 million naira, and you're looking at making 100 million naira from that property. I mean, which is totally fine. You can look at a location and say, okay, if I put this money in here, let me quickly tell you how you can calculate that. Now, for a location like Wuye, let me use Wuye. I'm using Wuye because we have great property there, so it's just like it just comes to my mind, right? So let's say Wuye, you want to buy an apartment in Wuye. Question you should ask yourself: how much does it cost? Let's say the one we have currently is an off-plan deal, and we are selling the 3-bedroom apartment for 159 million naira only, which is crazily affordable compared to the market value of 3-bedroom apartment in Wuye. So you would see, usually you see a 3-bedroom apartment in Wuye for like 250 million naira. 250 million naira. And now, because this is an off-plan deal, and this off-plan deal is not like the usual one that you just see. This is like exclusive. That's our signature residence project in Wuye. When you put an initial deposit of 30% and spread your payment for 6 months, total amount you're going to pay is 159 million naira, right? So 158 million and something thousand, but we call it 159 million naira, so you don't forget the price and all of that. So yes, you now calculate, okay, if I put this initial deposit of 30% and spread my payment in 6 months, mind you, before that 6 months, they would have done the foundation. They would have started doing the DPC and all of that. And here in Abuja, for every level of development, I tell you, for every level of development in Abuja, there is always an increment. Every level of development. In Abuja, I don't know if you know that in Abuja, one of the major reasons why development here is wild, is crazy, is because they give each developer a 2 years plan, like a 2 years gap. Once your building approval is out, they give you 2 years to develop your property. And once you don't develop that property in 2 years, it is going to be revoked. And this is why a lot of developers get to work. So once the building approval is out, you see them, it looks like the price, like a price in Abuja can change every 2 months or even every month. It's that crazy. That's why you see here, the development here is, you're like, I came here, this thing has not been done, but now it has been done. It's wowing you, like you're amazed at how, it's because of that 2 years time frame that they were given. If you don't build in 2 years, your property will be revoked. Now, you that bought from the real estate company, that bought from that developer, you have an advantage that even if you don't build, at least the developer is going to build. But the bad thing about that is that if your plot is in front, you'll be taken to the back. Do you know why? Because they're going to send you urban and regional planning people. They're going to send them to the site to check and see that you started developing. And because your plot is in front and you're having bushes, it's going to send a wrong signal to them that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So those that are ready to build, they bring them to the front. Then you will stay at the back. That's the only disadvantage. But the other good thing is that before you're ready to probably build, everywhere will be fully developed. So you can come to a particular location. In fact, I was speaking to one of my boss. He has been in the real. He's not a developer. He's not a developer, but he personally does real estate. Like he's one of those people that they build and they sell. But it's not like he's a builder. He gets people to like build and just. Do you understand? So he has been doing this like since. He doesn't do. He doesn't have a company. I was like, why didn't you make this? He said he doesn't have a company. He doesn't. So he has a lot of friends abroad, and then they just tell him, okay, help me build this property. I saw this. Do you have any property in this location? Say, okay, I'll help you get. The man will get the property and build. So he said he was doing this in like one of his friends traveled, and then that's how it started. So he didn't make it a real estate company. He's even in the oil sector. He doesn't nothing concern him with having company. He said he already has one to think about. He has a team of people. He has a whole team that builds. But he's not an active real estate developer. But he's a developer. So he was telling me about how he bought one property in Abuja for a very long time. Forgotten what year, but it's a really long time. He said he bought this property for 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira. And by the end of that year, he sold the property for 3 million naira. And 3 million naira then was a really big money. When he said that, like, 3 million naira, he said, no, I should not think that it's the 3 million naira of today. Well, that 3 million naira then was a lot of money, and he has no single regrets. He then said that after selling it to somebody that year, the next year, the person he sold it to 3 million naira sold that same property for 100 million naira. Oh my God. That same year, like he sold the property like 1 year later after buying from him. He bought 1 year for 500,000 naira. And after 1 year of buying for 500,000, he sold at 3 million. Now, the person that bought from him at 3 million sold that same property that's like after 1 year for 100 million naira. He said the property now is over 1.5 billion naira. I'm like, wow. And he was telling me that he doesn't have any regret though, but Abuja is one place that, because he was trying to tell one of his friends about how he got into it, because he was staying in the east and then he came to Abuja. Please. He was staying in the east and then he came to Abuja for business and all of that, and then he got some money and decided to buy that property. So he was like, wait a minute, like something is happening here. That's why he started buying properties. And then he started telling his friends about the property he bought. So that was how he started helping his friends to buy. They're like, okay, do you have anybody to build? And he will now build for them. That's how he got into. He was just telling me about how that thing started and how like money value has depreciated. And then if you have 3 million, like that's the whole money. So he was telling me that Abuja is one place that you can literally calculate how much you make. You just need to buy strategically. If you buy right, once you get your due diligence right, you're good. Once you get due diligence right, you're good. Especially when you have checked that it aligns with what you want. The payment plan aligns with what you want. The budget aligns with what you want. The location, what you want to build, just make sure it aligns with what you want. Because this place already has a plan. So if it doesn't align with what you want, if it doesn't, thank you. If it doesn't align with what you want, that means you're going to flop. Like you're going to flop later. And it's going to be very, when you buy real estate wrong in Abuja, it's like heartbreak. I was sharing a story the other day, and somebody said, I was sharing a story the other day about how somebody told me that he can never, that anything real estate, that he doesn't want his ear to hear it. But when he told me what happened, all I saw was someone that did not do due diligence. It's not in Abuja here though, in Southeast. All I saw was someone that did not do due diligence. And it's so heartbreaking. I'm like, yeah, this thing happened, but it doesn't mean you cannot take chance on yourself again. You're like, Abby, even though that I know you, that I will call all of you a scammer. I'm like, nobody is scamming. You did not do due diligence. He said, okay, yes, I trusted the person. Trust is good though. Me, I tell my clients, you want to buy from me, you trust me, yeah, awesome. But get a lawyer. Shadi when want to like close the entire transaction, get a lawyer. Because I don't want you to say I said, me, I've done my due diligence, but for your peace of mind, I need you to get a lawyer so that you will know that this, like, more like two-factor authentication, so that you're sure that you've checked it, and then we're good. All right. So that's it for that. Now, you also need to know that not every location would give you the same amount that another location gives to you. Now, for those that want to do something like apartments or wants to do block or flats, I hope you know that it is not what Good will give you that Uye will give you. I hope you know that's not what Dawaki will give you that Asokoro will give you. I hope you know that's not what Guzape will give you that Apo will give you. Like, you need to. Somebody will buy an like a location and say they want to use it for apartments in a location, and you tell them how much they're selling the apartment. Say, okay, this one is cheaper. Somebody called me one time like that. I think that was like last month. There was this our project in what's the name? Gadua. There's a project in Gadua. And he was saying that he likes the project, he likes this, he likes that. He was asking me about the cost of property in that location. I told him. Then he saw another of our projects. We were like, oh, he loves this particular one. He asked me for the cost of how much they sell apartments in that location, how much they rent apartments. I told him, like, oh, he prefers this one, he prefers this one. You're like, awesome. I told them the price. You're like, this one is too expensive. You want to eat your cake and have it. You want to pay 52 million naira for a location that can give you, let's say, in that location, what they sell apartment, maybe what they sell, where you can sell an apartment for that location, let's say 90 to 100 million naira. And then you want to buy another location that would give you 100% return on investment, and you want to pay the same amount for the other location. So I told him it doesn't work. It cannot work. It cannot fly. And I explained to him, I'm like, okay, he understands that. How about I can't talk to anybody, sir. I can't. It doesn't work. It's not magic. This is like, it's purely not obtainable. How can someone get a building at Ibadan with a payment plan of 5 years? Okay, Miss Elena, for Ibadan, I can refer you to someone, right? I can refer you to someone that works actively in Ibadan. So you can just text me. So there is a link in my bio, and that link takes you directly to my WhatsApp. Just say that you're the lady that texted on my YouTube live for a property in Ibadan, and I'm going to remember. Okay, so after the live session, you can go to my my bio and check that. However, you can still click on any of my videos. You see my phone number written like at the right hand side of the video, and then you can screenshot it and send me a message. I hope that helps. So somebody said, can I get a 1-bedroom apartment in the heart of Abuja for a budget of 5 million? 5 million for rent. You cannot get, when you mean heart of Abuja, see, Abuja is not like every other location. I always say this thing. Heart of Abuja, it depends on what you call heart. Asokoro can be heart, Matama can be heart, Muye can be heart. So it depends on what you want. Where do you think heart is? Some people's heart is city center. Some people is central business district. So you need to define what your heart is. If it's the heart I'm thinking about, no, you cannot. You cannot. You cannot. I mean, in Asokoro, I stay in Asokoro, and you would get a 1-bedroom in Asokoro for like over 5 points. And that is rarely. You rarely get that. You get. So it depends. Okay, Wuse, Wuye, Maitama. Please just take Maitama out of it. It's not possible. Except you have someone who just wants to do that for you. But for rent, it's not. I don't do rentals, right? But I can refer you to someone that does rental. Okay, so you said Wuse, Wuye. Okay, yeah, you can get that in Wuye. And I think you can also get that in Wuse too. Maybe. But how many bedrooms did you even say? 1-bedroom apartment. Okay. Yes, you can get in Wuya and Wuse. I think you can. You can. But you see Asokoro, take it off. 5 million naira. You will rarely get that. So, Mr. Ugochukwu, see, you could just text me. You could just text me on WhatsApp, like I told the other lady. There's a link on my bio. Just send a message on that link on my bio, and then it will take you directly to my WhatsApp. Or better still, click on any of my videos, and then you would see my phone number. You can screenshot and send me a message and say you're the person that wants something in that wants an apartment or a one bedroom in Wuye, and then I'll refer you to someone that does that. Okay. Yeah. So I was also saying, now another thing I need you to understand is when you're buying any property in Abuja, the documentation, the legal side of it is not exempted. You see, this legal side has caused so much issues. People focus on the price of the property and they forget these other things I've said, and then forget the budget. Sorry, they forget the legal side. I always advise work with a legal professional here in Abuja. Do you know why? Abuja is different. The way they do legal issues in other states is not how they do it in Abuja. In fact, I tell my clients, if you don't have any lawyer in Abuja, please find one. Okay? Because the way we do real estate, or somebody that understands the Abuja real estate market, there are some lawyers that actually not active here, but they've done transactions here and it has helped them to understand how the Abuja real estate market works. So the issue with not working with someone that knows how it works here is that there are some little details that would cost you. You're welcome. There are some little details that would cost you your money. Like, imagine in Abuja now, you can go to, thank God, you can confirm that the property is FCD approved though. But they will not tell you that the property has issues. It's in courts, or this where the property is not where it actually is. Like maybe it's still inside. But when you work with a legal professional, they tell you that this property is in courts. That this property, it is a good property. Oh. It has all the good documents, but they've used it to collect collateral. They've used it to do collateral. You see, so you will not know. But when you speak to someone that is here, that understand what is going on here, they will give you these details. They will help you know that these things, that the property is good, but with small problem, with a sprinkle of hot case. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's just that people get to experience this thing, and most times because they are trying to find a cheaper way. They are trying to find, there are a lot of scams, like too much. And it's because people don't want to get educated. They just want to get into the market, like just do something, just want to buy and just let's get going. It's not like hair. If you want to buy hair, if you want to buy a Rolex, even Rolex, there's fake. I don't know. Somebody, I was talking to one of my boss, I think that was yesterday, and he was like, black people are wicked people. Like, there was something he said, there was a conversation we were having, and then he said it out of pain. He's black. But just that he travels a lot. He also does real estate. But we're having like, black people are wicked people, especially the poor ones. They don't want other people to eat. They don't want other people to progress. Somebody will work in the UK, like their hard-earned money, and you sit down, give them a fake property, sell it to them, and then it doesn't touch your heart that this person can go. I mean, it's okay. When you hear how people were scammed, it feels like they use jazz. But it's not jazz. Like, it's not jazz. These people have just done this thing so much that they now know how to penetrate people's emotions and get money out of them. And once they've collected the money, they're off. And guess what? The person they do this thing to, when they now find an original person, a good person, they start being very, at the end of the day, they are like, no, I'm not doing this real estate thing again. They miss out on opportunity because of the heartbreak they've gotten. See, this live session is supposed to be like 20 minutes, but I said I was going to take my time to teach on this because I'm tired of hearing these stories. I'm honestly tired. I'm tired, but instead of just complaining and saying, like my boss said, black people are wicked people. We're not wicked people. Just that there are some persons that have made it look as if they are not good people here. And it's so heartbreaking. Another thing you need to ask, when you've confirmed all of these other things, you also need to ask if there are other payments, like all those small payments, like maybe survey plan, you need to pay for, maybe there are some they tell you need to pay for survey plan, how much is the agency fee, like you need to confirm all of these things. That's like the extra on the one I've already explained to you. So you need to be sure You need to be sure that everything that I just said, the property you want to buy aligns with your priorities, aligns with your lifestyle, with your goal, with what you want to achieve. Okay? So I'm hoping that this helps you. If you know anybody that wants to buy real estate in Abuja, real estate in Nigeria, I'm very conversant with the one in Enugu and Abuja. But especially Abuja, the scams in this city is a lot. I mean, what do you expect from a city where people are literally sharing flyer on the road and people can just buy from that flyer? Don't get me wrong, people sharing flyers on the road are not scammers. But because the genuine ones are actively trying to help people build their future finance, the scammers develop strategy. Let us join them. So you know where you have mixed multitude. Do you understand? You have mixed multitude, and then you just like somebody pouring. What am I going to use? Maybe what can I use now? Acid. Somebody getting acid and pouring it into water. Because everything is looking white, everything is looking the same color. Don't know, is acid color white? I think so. The one I've seen in movies. Let me look for like something that's contaminated that looks transparent like water. Somebody pours it into like a clean water. Because it looks transparent, it looks clean, doesn't mean it is good for you to drink. That is what's happening in this industry. They are good people, but guess what? The bad ones are trying, they have mixed up, and it has made the job more difficult. That even we that are selling, we'll even try to tell you to do more due diligence so that you on your own end, you are sure that what you are buying, your eyes is on ground. So I hope this tech said real estate Yahoo. Seriously, at this point, it's very exhausting. I mean, if I tell you, cause most time when people want to buy property and then we have conversation, the first thing they start telling is about how they were scammed, how their brother was scammed by even family members. Let's not even get into that topic. So hope we tech is saying hope Wike will not come for building, or will I need a soldier? See, that Wike matter. Let's not talk about it. Wike is not your enemy, I can guarantee you. Wike, you see Wike, that man is not your enemy. I know that I can say this. You know, the way somebody handles stuff, their intention might be genuine, but the way they go about it will not really be nice. So that is what I can say for that particular issue, and I'm going to end at that. Okay? So thank you so much for joining my live session. I really enjoyed today's live session. It was engaging. Thank you for coming to my live. Thank you for joining me to the end. I really, really do appreciate your time. Don't you think government should be selling land? Here in Abuja, actually, all lands belongs to the federal government. That is why Wike is actively involved. Don't you think government should be selling land? That's why I wanted to read it to be sure. All land, according to the Land Use Act of 1978, Land Use Act of 1978, yes, all land in Abuja belongs to the federal government and is managed by the federal minister, as the minister. Amen. And it's managed by the minister, that's Wike. So that's why you think that Wike is prognosing. He's not prognosing. He is the one that is managing all the lands you see in Abuja. Okay? He's not prognosing. He's trying to make sure that the job in his hand is done well. Okay? So all you need to do on your own end is due diligence. Be sure that you're doing your due diligence. That way it's easy for you to penetrate the Abuja real estate market. The kind of money in Abuja, you see real estate, I know a lot of my bosses that are not doing real estate. Like they don't have real estate companies. They have other companies. But they always talk about like what, in Nigeria we call it blow. What made them very wealthy is real estate, not even their business. They used the money in their business to invest in real estate, and it took a quantum leap, and then they now invested it back in their business. So, okay, you're talking about all land in Nigeria. Last week, if you can go to my live session last week, I explained how land administration in Nigeria works. And if I start talking about that, we're not going to leave here. See, if you leave me, I'm going to talk from now. You see this real estate thing, leave it for me. You go to my last live session. There are two different land administration, and Abuja operates in the ministerial land administration, and it's only Abuja that operates in that land administration system in Nigeria. That's why it's different. So that is why all land in all land in Nigeria cannot be owned by the government, because what other states use is the customary land administration system. Okay, so that's why it cannot work for Nigeria. There are systems in this nation, and that's how it works. So go to my last live session so you would understand how the entire land administration thing works in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining my live session today. It was really fun. I really love that you engaged. If you know anybody that wants to buy property in Abuja, just send them this video, let them watch it when they're probably preparing for work on Monday or tomorrow. They can binge watch it tomorrow evening, and then when they are doing the other stuff, they could just be listening to it, so that it would help them get informed before making any real estate decision, especially in Abuja. I really appreciate your time. Enjoy a great night rest. Bye. Bye, Miss Elena. Bye, Tech King. Bye, bye, bye. Good night. I hope you have a good night rest. Bye, Mr. Oguchuku. Hope you have a good night rest. Bye, Shilon. Don't know if I got that right. Bye, bye, bye. Good night.